We're ready.
Ready?
We're ready. He's gonna be here in just a second.
You will, okay.
Is it on? It's on. Ralph's coming?
Ralph is not coming.
Not coming, okay.
I figured.
All right, I now call the January 18th, 2018 meeting of the Madison County Board of Adjustment to order. Will you call the roll for me, please?
Ralph Oliver, Valerie Hines,
Present.
Jimmy Rogers,
Yes,
Howard
President.
Bowden,
Here.
George Dillon.
Yes. All right, the first item we need to talk about is the minutes from the last meeting. Did everybody have a chance to read those? I read them, they were pretty lengthy, it looked like they were correct to me. Is there any questions or comments from anybody on those?
No.
I don't see
If
anything.
not, I'll open the floor for a motion on those.
I move we accept the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Jimmy Rogers,
Yes.
Howard Bowden,
Yes.
Valerie Hines,
Yes.
George Dillon.
Yes. All right, we have two items on the agenda tonight. Both of them are dimensional variances for 192 Avalon Drive and 2871 Dolesville Road. Do I have anybody here for 192 Avalon Drive? Yes. All right. Who wants to come up and speak first, or who's submitted the variance request?
He's representing the property owner and the other thing.
All right, then you come up. State your name and the address you're representing, I'm assuming.
My name's Adam Keys. I'm representing 192 Avalon and the builder Chris McCoy,
All right.
who's out of town.
All right, Mr. Keys, do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as pertains to this case?
Yes, I do.
All right, continue.
He is wanting to request a variance to build within closer to the boundaries of the road from 50 feet to 37 feet due to the size of the lot. It's fallen off the side of a mountain. There's not enough to be able to push it back any further than away from the road than where it is.
Okay, so just a 13-foot variance then?
That's correct.
It's up on the map now. Let's see, it's 192.
Probably backs up to the river, doesn't it?
It does,
Back up
it
the
does.
river, yeah. So what's the building line out there?
It's
I mean, it's on this plat here, it's shown as a 40-foot building line.
40 feet for the association and I believe 50 feet for the county.
I guess the association, it varies in there, I believe, as far as
Okay. So
what
according
part
to
of
the-
subdivision you're in.
So according to the plat, it's a 50-foot building line, or?
It's a 50-foot far as our ordinance, is the minimum of our land use ordinance.
Okay.
It's a 40-foot trace. Generally, all the lots on the inside, they have plenty of room, that's way off the road anyway. It's where they run into the problem is on the riverside.
Which this doesn't show the 3D elevation.
No, but it, where you can see the grassy area is fairly flat, and then from the tree line down, it starts sloping off.
You've been out there looking at it, you have any questions about it?
I saw the stakes look like they're in line with the other building. All right, where the stakes are.
With the other
stakes-
houses, I'm sure that I would have,
Look like they're
I
in
would
line.
guess that they had to get a variance as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much gonna line up with the other houses, that's correct.
Yeah, I'm gonna look to there very closely. I don't see any problem.
I don't have any. Let me ask this, does anybody else in the audience want to come speak for or against the variance request? All right, Mr. Keys, you're gonna have a seat, we'll let somebody come up, somebody else come up. State your name and address for me, please.
John Malinchek. I live next door at 188 Avalon.
All right, do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as pertains to this case?
Yes.
Continue.
We got a letter in the mail, myself and the neighbor on the other side, which is 196, about the variance. The next day I called the president of the board, or communicated via email. We never spoke. I also contacted Madison County because it just said a 13-foot variance, and I didn't know if it was closer to my property, closer to the other side. That's when I found out it was just closer to the road. So I contacted the board of directors, like I said, and asked how many other homes in the community, what the actual the setback requirement was in Boone's Trace. Also the jurisdiction, like who has jurisdiction in the private community, either the community or the board of directors or Madison County. And it seems like my understanding is it's sort of an overlapping jurisdiction, that the county requirement is 50 feet from the center of the road, but the Boone's Trace requirement is 40 feet. I think that I know the property because I live next door. The house could be built in accordance to the building plan, that the permit says 50 foot. So the builder knew right from the beginning he was required to build 50 feet back from the road. He chose not to follow the building permit, so he violated your building permit. I don't know how many other houses, because the board wouldn't tell me. A lot of my argument is sort of with the board of directors. I asked how many other owners in the community had been notified. Apparently no one has, because they feel they're under no requirement to notify anybody else. And I think if it was more widely known among the community, there might be more people in opposition. I don't know if that would change your decision or not, but I just think it would be a more transparent way of doing it to kind of publicize it. I asked who made the actual decision. According to the governance...
Let me back up here, let me stop you a little. Are we talking about, are we talking about the variance that the homeowner association gave?
Yes.
Okay, that's not us, I don't care.
Okay.
Now that's, you take that up with those people at the, homeowner-
Just say for the record, we did. all
Homeowner
our
association.
Required advertising, all of our signage.
Right, and
all
only a
our
certain radius of the
public
property.
notices.
Exactly.
All that was done per KRS and per our regulations.
Yeah, that's not our issue, we can't change that, I don't have anything to do with the homeowner association, what they've approved or what they gave us.
But I think the position of the owner of the property is he poured the foundation footing where it is because the board gave him approval to build it 37 feet back.
He did, but and let me
Okay.
give you a little background on what happened on that. I was actually on my way out there that day to do the inspection. I was running late. He already had concrete on the way. I got there before the concrete and discovered the issue with the variance. And I told him, I said, Chris, you're too close to the road. Chris reported us the builder. I know you've got concrete coming. I know it's spinning on the truck. If you pour it, you're pouring it at your own peril because you don't have any approval for that. I understand if you don't pour it, you're gonna have to pay for it. It's gonna be wasted in the truck. If you do pour it, you may not get approval. It may be wasted poured in the ground. It's your decision whether you want to pour it or not. He made a decision at that point to go ahead and pour the concrete that he'd already bought and was already there, with the understanding that if he did not get his variance, that he'd have to fill it. So he's aware of that. He knows he didn't pour it in spite of us or in spite of his approvals. He poured it because of the
So
communication.
we approved the building permit at a 50-foot building line?
Yes.
Okay. And so he has stopped and hadn't done anything else since the foundation's been poured?
He hasn't
though?
done anything. In fact,
Okay.
he's got a
He
little
put
bit
up
of
a
a
nice
mess.
sign. He put up a nice sign about the meeting.
Okay. What, let me just ask you this, John, what's the setback of your house? Is your house set back at the 50 foot or is it gonna line up with the front of these others?
I measured it and it's a 40-foot setback.
Okay.
Which is in agreement with the Boone's Trace requirements.
So in theory, we're only talking a 3-foot difference between your house and this one he's asking for, right?
Yeah, I think I measured it as 37 feet to the edge of the road, though, not to the center of the road. And along the slope, I don't know if you measure it, how it's measured. I'm not a surveyor or anything like that. My worry is my property value, basically.
How does this affect your property value?
I think this house is gonna be underpriced, kind of, as
Don't
far
have
as
anything to
the
do with
other
that.
houses there.
So, again, how does the variance, how would that 3 feet or 13 feet affect your property value?
It's, the variance, I guess, wouldn't, it's just, I think he's building it to minimize his construction cost. That's his basic motivation. It could, like I said, it could be built the way it was supposed to be built, but in order to save money, he just pushed it forward. Because he had approval from the board, now that the foundation is in, say you, for example, you deny it, he's gonna come back and probably sue the community. You told me I could build there. I did, and, you know.
Again, that's nothing we can control here.
This is my neighbor too on the other side, Mr. Kandani at 196. I think he was,
All right.
he has his worries about it too.
All right, if you want to have a seat, we'll have him come up.
Thank you.
Basically, I have
Co-
the same.
Come forward to the podium, please.
Sure,
State your name and address for me, please.
sure. Good afternoon. My name is Ali Kandani. My
Could you
address.
spell that, please? We gotta do this.
Sure. Last name Kandani, Khandani, and first name Ali, Ali. My address is 196 Avalon Drive.
Okay, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name, but do you agree to give
That's
truthful and
okay.
accurate
You might
information
call
as it
me
pertains to this
Ali.
case?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So you live next door?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I live next door. Again, the only my worry about is my property value. You asked how could be, I'm not sure, but when we drive, if it's to me, again, I might be wrong, but when we drive down the driveway, if it's a house, it's in front of it, kind of it doesn't show my house. Kind of my house kind of gonna be hide behind the house. I'm not
Okay.
sure it doesn't make sense or not, but that's the only thing. Again, I'm not arguing about how it's gonna be built, but that's the only word.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I just want to clarify, so there's a 40-foot building line,
I don't know if that's.
well, that's what's shown on this little plat that was submitted with this,
Thank you.
I think. I'm just, so, we're only talking a 3-foot difference between those neighbors' houses and where this house is gonna be. It's a 13-foot variance for the county, but really it's only a 3-foot difference between the two houses that are next door, right?
Is this what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, that shows a
That's
40,
something that his engineer has drawn up to show the site plan. I'm not sure that shows the building line of Boone Straits.
Well,
That
it's
may
showing-
be their variance, I mean.
showing a 40-foot building line.
Right, I understand that, but that doesn't mean that's the setback for Boone Straits. That means that's where the engineer has put the building line for this site.
For the house.
So it could be that's the variance he got, and that's what the engineer took,
Okay.
and that's where he set the house.
I would think that most of the houses on that side of the road, that
Are really,
section of there
really close to that 40-foot number.
were built pre-land use ready. I don't know, certainly pre-10 years from us.
I think,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
Boone Straits, historically, their setbacks have been stricter than the counties, and I think that's the case here. But the applicant has gone to their board and asked to reduce their setback to 40 feet in this case, not realizing that ours is the opposite here, is gonna be more strict than their 40.
Right, I mean,
At 50.
because the letter, and so it's confusing, because the letter we got says from 70 feet to 37 feet.
Well, see, it's probably 70 is Boone Straits setback. And
Okay.
he's asked for a variance from them, but didn't take that extra step of coming and asking for the variance for us.
Okay, all right. Name and address for me, please.
Mindy Tiger, Tiger, 304 Avalon Drive.
All right, Ms. Tucker, do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as it pertains to this case?
Yes.
Continue.
I'm the president of the Boone's Trace POA. The setback on Avalon is 70 feet.
Okay,
Every house you see that's built in front of that 70 foot have received a variance. These two gentlemen received a variance. It was noted with the original developer who developed the neighborhood that due to topography, there would be situations that we would have to take that into consideration. It's just the way that the land is. There's no, and there are several houses along the riverside on Avalon that are not at 70 feet.
Otherwise, they'd be in the river probably.
Yeah, they would be in the river
They'd
or
slide
on a
off the
cliff.
cliff.
I mean, there's just
Okay.
there's no way to help it.
So you're saying the two homes next door to this home have variances
Yes.
with them?
Yeah, yeah, yes. Any house along Avalon that's built before the 70-foot mark received a variance.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Come back up. Gotta state your name again for me.
Sure. It's probably not. Okay. Again, my name is Ali Kandani. My address is 196 Avalon Drive. I have the guideline for Avalon Drive. It's here. And I have a restriction here, which it says it's mandatory 40 feet, not the 70. If it's something changed, I'm not sure, but I have it here, 40 feet, and it says shall be mandatory. I can have it here. I highlight it. And again, I'm not sure about 70. I never heard it. That's the only thing I wanted to add.
Okay, thank you. You wanna come back up? Have anything else?
John Malinchik, 188 Avalon. I asked the board what the setback was. I got 3 different answers, 50 feet, 40 feet, and 70 feet. I've checked the building guidelines that Boone's Trace has online, and it says 40 feet for Avalon and Avalon Estates, which I just assuming is the development we're in. Is that accurate?
Again, as the chairman has said, this board has no authority or no control over the Boone's Trace deed restrictions or the homeowners association. We're here to discuss the county's regulations. We can't, that's between you and the board, the homeowners association.
Well-
This board, they don't have any authority over that.
Okay, Ms. Tiger just came up and said the setback is 70 feet.
That's what she told me.
It might be 100, but again, this board's not concerned with that.
Here's the bottom line, and here's what I think. The two houses next door, let's say they're at 40 feet. This guy's gonna put his at 37. Is the 3 feet gonna make that big of a difference? Does it affect your property value? I don't know that it is, and I'm not sure I know how it could and stuff. We're only talking 3 feet difference between the two houses that are next door. Whether it's 50, 70, 40, it doesn't really matter. All these homes are gonna line up right beside each other. And I think that's the
And
real.
how about violating the building permit? The Madison County
That's for them
Building
to
Permit?
handle.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Trying to correct it.
That's right. They're trying to fix it. We're
By-
trying to help
By
fix it.
just allowing them to do it?
We're
The
talking,
board has the authority to do that.
that's the reason they come to us. That this is the solution, or try to resolve, come up with a solution.
I don't know, I guess that's it. I think, I sort of
I
thought
feel
from
like,
the
I feel like
beginning-
most of your issue is with the Boone's Trace HOA, and I think you ought to take that up with them.
I agree with you, and any of the communication I've had with Madison County, the people have been very polite and, they shared information, they were willing to answer the questions. With Boone's Trace, it was sort of the exact opposite. Very kind of dismissive and wouldn't answer questions, refused to answer questions. Yeah.
Whoever wants to talk first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's back here waving his hand, he wants to talk.
My name is Ali Kandani, and again, my address is 196 Avalon Drive. I know it's not an issue about the Boone's Trace board. It's not here. But what I'm trying to say, 37 feet, if it's a higher slope, and which already I see it, the foundation is very close to the drive, to the street. Kind of that's something which I'm thinking. It's a very high slope, 37. if you kind of measure it on the ground.
We're talking this much. This much. That's how much distance we're talking about between that house closer to the street than yours. That much.
Mhm. But if it's not flat, it's already really close to the.
Probably a lot of the visual impact of what's happening out there is the topography.
And overdig.
Yeah,
And
and the
I
overdig.
believe- I believe that. That's
So,
right.
I think maybe once all that gets put back into place and it gets done, it won't have that bad of an impact on
Okay.
you. So,
Thank you.
Has the vertical distance been measured, the horizontal distance been measured from the center of the road to the edge of where that foundation is now?
Yeah, I measured it that day, I remember it was too close, and that's why we're here, yeah.
I mean,
don't remember
you
exactly
don't
what
remember what the
but
measurement?
I assume it's the 37 feet
Oh, okay.
that he's asked for.
So it was measured.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. It was measured.
Yeah, I
So
measured
that
it that
we know,
day,
yeah.
that's why, that's how I know it was too close. Yeah.
Where those stakes are, is that going, that's the edge of the of the building, right? Where the stakes are, the big long,
I don't know what stakes you're talking about.
well, they're
I haven't been out there
round,
since I
look
put
like
the
the
sign
round
up.
type stakes sticking up, you know?
you should be able to measure to the foundation if
It
it's
looked
there.
like they're in line with that other house.
Yeah. And I think they're within the 3 feet that.
I think so, yeah. I'm assuming as they were stuck in the middle of the foundation.
We didn't put the.
Sometimes they
stakes.
mark the property line, sometimes they mark the
Yeah.
setback, sometimes
Yeah.
they mark the corners of the building. I don't know which stakes.
Could be, it's
that
just
you saw.
round holes,
Yeah.
holes,
I
you
don't know.
know. I didn't get out, I just,
Right.
You would've been in that hole if you got out.
I've been in it.
All right, does anybody in the audience want to have any more questions, comments they want to make from anybody?
I have a comment. In fact, that the foundation was put in before approval was given by the county. Isn't there some sort of regulation that we have that if somebody puts something in before they get approval,
Well,
we
again, I don't
can't even
believe, I don't
rule
believe
on it?
anything here was done maliciously.
That's malicious.
I believe it was an honest mistake. Mr. McCoy believed he had approval and did in fact have approval from the Board of Adjustments, or from the Board of the Homeowners Association. When I got there and his eyes got that big around, when I told him he didn't have approval from us, I don't have any reason to believe he did anything, like I said, malicious. He didn't understand the process. Once I explained that to him, you know, he had to make the decision as a builder, a financial decision. Do I send those trucks back and, $1,000 a truck, probably 3 trucks to pour that footer? Do I send that back and eat that 3,000, or do I put the concrete in the hole and stop, which he's done, they've not done any work since then, and come up to the board and see if I can get approved? And if I can't, he understood. We had a conversation standing on the job that day. If he didn't get approval, then he would have to fill it in, and he understands that, and he was okay with it. So, like I said, I don't believe he tried to do anything underhand.
But the approval was for 40 feet, wasn't for 37 feet. Is that correct?
I don't know what kind of approval he got from the board.
Moon's Trace? It was 37.
No, I'm sorry, they did give it to 37.
Again, I wasn't, at that point, wasn't concerned with what approval he had from them. I just wanted to make sure he met our regulation.
John Malinchak, 188. This is an experienced contractor. To say that he didn't understand the process, I kind of have my doubts about that. I think he knows exactly, probably, how many properties has he developed. I know he's a developer, that he's not building the house to move into. So, I'm hearing a lot of information headed your way that seems to be strongly in the favor of the property owner. Just,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody got anything else? Anything? Anybody? Questions, comments? If not, I'll open the floor for a motion. Anybody?
I'll make a motion that we approve the 13 feet variance for 192 Avalon.
I hear a second?
Second.
Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
Okay.
Call the roll, please.
Valerie Hines,
Yes.
Jimmy Rogers,
Yes.
Howard Bowden,
No.
George Dillon.
Yes. All right, that's been approved. All right, the next case we have is 2871 Dolesville Road. Do we have someone here representing them? You want to come to the podium for me, please?
Should we come together?
Yeah, you can. Just whoever's talking needs to state their name and address and let me swear them in.
Sure. I'm Jared Weinbarger. We currently live at 2883 Doylesville Road.
All right, Mr. Weinbarger, do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as it pertains to this case?
Sure. Yes.
All right, continue.
My wife and I, Kelly, would like to build a home. As I mentioned, we actually live almost directly next door to the place we're going to build. We live on a property that we do not currently own. It's our in-laws, and we're hoping to build next door to them. This is our piece of property, 2871 right there. It's difficult to see, but you can see the shadows of the telephone poles there. The telephone poles are kind of causing us a little bit of problem and having us move it just a little bit closer to the road. That would allow, or that would give us the need for the variance. Along with that, and then a very quick dropping slope there. You can see in the tree line there, it drops pretty quickly and dramatically. We'd like the variance to build our home a little closer to the road than we probably first expected.
So there's no building line out there, I'm assuming? And this-
Northville Road is a state highway.
Correct.
125 feet from the center of the line.
So they're going, 125 to 95, right? So a 30-foot
Correct.
variance is what you're asking?
That's correct.
It's kind of hard to see that. You can kind of see right here, you can see the utility pole.
That's correct.
The shadow
You
of
can
it.
see that there's an easement that runs right about where you want to put that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
If
So
that
they're
pole wasn't there, it'd make our job a lot easier.
Trying to avoid that as well, so.
Correct.
Well, yeah, you got to be behind the building line and in front of the
That's-
easement.
that's correct.
Essentially, yeah.
Otherwise, they're over here.
We're dropping off a hill very quickly. That's a very steep drop there.
And to be honest, there's numerous homes closer to the road.
The one across the street up there on the top right-hand corner is about, you can see about 10 feet off the center of the road.
On the drawing that we have here.
Yes.
It says that, it looks as though it's the outline of the house, and it says that you're 40 feet from the power line.
The power line variance is 15 feet either direction. Is that correct? As we have it down. So we're 40 feet from the power line, correct?
That's with the variance. That's if you get the variance, is that right?
Correct, yes.
If it's a 30-foot easement, they stand underneath the power line, it's 15, just what.
15 on each side of it, or center of it. Now, you haven't started this house yet? You're in the
Spray
process?
paint on the ground. It's
All right,
pretty,
so you're in the process of getting your building permit?
Correct.
Okay, good.
They come in to get it, and then we found it.
Okay. All right.
Our home currently is at 287. It's the bottom right-hand corner there. That's where we're living currently now.
All right, I didn't ask on the other one, but did we have any calls? Anybody, we put a sign up out there, we
did-
notified
We
everybody?
got all signs in public, legal notices, and letters to surrounding property owners. I don't believe we got any.
No calls, no issues
Most of the
with?
surrounding
The
property owners
people
are
that
not there
called,
right
the
now.
other, George, was the people that called.
Okay.
And that was all it was.
The people to our right of us, they live in Washington currently. Left of us, they're in Florida for the season. We're friends with all of our neighbors.
All right, is there anybody else in the audience want to speak for or against?
This is our contractor, BJ. He's happy to be here with us. We're happy
All
he's
right.
here. He knows about the process better than we do.
Questions, comments from anybody here?
So the
Yes.
main reason is that you don't wanna be close to the power line, is that the?
Yeah,
main
to avoid
reason
the
for
power
it?
line and then the slope that follows there after the power line, correct.
But I looked out there, I didn't think the slope was that steep.
Past the power line is when it begins to drop off.
On the,
Once you get to the tree line, it falls.
Correct.
yeah, but from between the road and the power line,
You're
there's not a steep slope.
That's where they want to go.
That's
But they
correct.
can't because of the setback.
Right.
Right, okay.
And if you put it at 125 feet, it's gonna be right next to
It'll
the
be under the
easement,
power
right under the power line,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can't build on the power line.
Yeah,
Right.
so,
So they're wanting to
there's a
come in
dual,
front of the
dual
power
purpose
line.
here. Stay in front of the power line, and then off the slope.
Right.
So,
It does give the impression that the road was out, that it kind of follows, if you get out there and look, it really.
Goes
I
down.
was out there,
Yeah.
and I walked the property.
Did you walk it, okay?
We live it out there. It's beautiful. Pretty exciting.
Just a sideline, we had asked once before that the stakes be put in on proposed. I didn't see any stakes out there, so it's kinda hard
I think
unless
we
we
had a
take.
site plan on this one, maybe that's why we didn't get it marked.
So then,
They were actually.
well, what I should do then is take my
They
tape
might have
measure
gotten
each
knocked down by
time
cats.
in order to find out exactly where it is.
He said he had stakes
We
up.
did.
I didn't see any
They were
stakes.
knocked down.
We
by
have
the
cattle,
cow.
they have cattle on the property and top of the knockdown.
I noticed there was cattle.
There are.
So I guess if we knew when y'all were coming, we could have made sure they were there, but.
you make anything else? Y'all have anything else you wanna add?
I don't know. I don't think so. We're pretty new to this
All right.
process, I guess.
Yeah.
Or
If there's no further questions or comments, I'll open the floor for a motion.
I move that we grant a variance of 30 feet to the property on 2871 Doylesville Road, so that the front of the house will be 95 feet from the center of the road.
Do I hear a second?
A second.
Call the roll, please.
Jimmy Rogers?
Yes.
Howard Bowden?
Yes.
Valerie Hines?
Yes.
George Dillon?
Yes. Congratulations, your variance has been approved.
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I kept looking around, waiting for those cows to attack me.
They are very social.
Yeah.
Follow us around.
If there's no further business, I'll adjourn the meeting. Anything else? Nothing? All right.
Okay, I'll call you that way. I'll be busy in the morning. How's your evening?
They voted no because of the fact that I think that contract should have ducks in order before you close
It's this much. It's this much.
It's that much and everything else.
That's exactly right. I can't justify
All right, I'll call
something
you.
out
Okay.
all that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And I have sympathy for them, I mean, I try not to be, but their issue is with the homeowner association, not necessarily with us, and they
Yeah, I
have.
tried to explain to that guy all the time. He just said he wasn't notified by the homeowners association. They never told him what was going on. I'm sorry.
Well, see them, they probably got tired of dealing with it.
George, another good meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, boy, sure is.
I gotta get another job here, somebody else gotta take this over.
No.
It's too-
Well,